This is pretty exciting. We have gotten all the way through fractions to decimals, decimals to percents, and percents to fractions. We've been working with changing all of our rational numbers to various forms, and now we're going to do page 12 in our interactive notebook. Historically, this is a harder page because we have lots of little values here, so I'm going to encourage you to not start this video, or let's change it. Let's not cut out all these numbers unless you know you have time to finish. You can cut out your number line, you can cut out your title, your explanation of what you're doing for your standard, and your question. You could even glue them into place. Notice that my spiral is turned to the side with my title right up next to the actual spirals. I have my title and the question laying kind of on this red line. When I cut out my values, I'm going to cut, in order to make this work the best, we're going to cut right up close to the numbers. Okay? We're not going to just stay on the outside. We're going to cut as close as we can to these numbers to make them as skinny as possible. So when you're cutting, please do that. Okay? It will help a lot when you go to put it together. One last thing, I've already glued in my top 3 things. My numbers are loose. I have 2, 4, 6, 8 of them ready to go. But notice when you do your number that there are 2 zeros. And that always confuses kids, but they were giving you that so that you could easily overlap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this 0 in half. Then I'm going to go and get a small piece of tape, and I'm going to put my number line, I'm going to overlap my zeros. Getting a small piece of tape, I'm going to put the tape over where my zeros are. Then, with my number line resting right on or right above this margin line, I can add just a little bit of glue to the ends so that it will be glued down. And you notice in doing this now, my number line stretches all the way almost from end to end with the 0 overlapping. All right, so now we're ready to go. We are going to be ordering and comparing rational numbers. To compare and order rational numbers, we have to convert, that means change, all numbers to the same form. I like you to change everything to a decimal, because when we change our values to a decimal, we can think of it as money. We have $0 here, and over here to the left, we have our negatives. This is where we owe money. And all the way over here to the right, we have our positives. This is where we have money. So we can look at these values one at a time. Some are really easy. For example, 4.5. I look at this and I see $4.50. And it's easy to put that. It's past 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. This would be 4 1/4, 4.50, 4.75 before I get to 5. So 4.5 would be right there. And again, you can put just a little tab of glue. Remember, just a dot does it. And glue it on your paper in place. So that first one was easy. Here's another one easy. It's already in decimal form. So this is a positive. You can put a ghost 0 at the end. Okay, and if you don't already have your video maximized up, make it big so you can see what's going on. All right, so here's 1 and here's 2. If this is $25.50 and this is 75 cents here, 70 would be just before that. So again, I'm going to put just a little dot of glue, and I've got it in the right place. 0, another very easy. Just line it up, roll it back, put just a little dot or smear of glue. It'll be good to go. It would be easy to make a mess out of your notebook. Even I can see where my glue has overrun a little bit. So do the best you can. Here is a whole -3. This one would be easy to place. You would owe $3. You notice I'm doing all the easy ones first, right? You can see that. This person owes $2.58. So you can see here you owe $1, you owe $2, you owe $3. $2.58 would be right in here. I owe 2. Here is 2 1/4. Here's $2.50. Here is $2.75, and then owing 3. So $2.58 would be just past owing $2.50, but less than owing $3. So my little dot of glue. So far it seems pretty easy. How about -3.5? I owe 3, how much is half a dollar? Well, you could take your calculator, if you don't know, and say 1 divided by 2, but hopefully you would know that it's 0.5. Bring your whole number in front of it. You owe 3.5, or add a 0 and make it easy to see, I owe $3.50. I hope you can see that. And where would that go? Here's I owe 1, 2, 3, 4. So owing $3.50 would go right in here. All right, so I have 2 fractions left here. I have -4 divided by 2. Well, use your calculator. 4 divided by 2. That's right, you get a 2, but it's negative. So 4/2 is really just a -2. The whole number -2. So that was not hard at all. Finally, -5/4. So again with your calculator, 5 divided by 4, you're going to get 1.25. So what is that? $1.25. And where would you find that? Here's 0. Here's $1. That 25 is that first quarter, that 1/4. Guys, I left this that easy. Pretty easy, right? Okay. Please don't make a mess with the glue, but I don't like how my ends are curling up. And so I'm going to just take a few little pieces of tape where all of my ends are touching, and I'm going to tape them down so it stays nice and neat. If you need to, you can lay your notebook on the big counter so it can dry. But this is what your paper looks like. There should be nothing on the edges of your notebook. You should be able to close your notebook and not show anything. Now, we've changed all of the numbers to the same form. We did all into decimals, and then we put them from least to greatest on the number line. So over here is our least, and over here is our greatest, and now we're ready to answer our question. Is -6 to the left or right of -1 on the number line? Here's -1. Where would -6 be? -6 would be out here, right? So it is to the left. So the answer is left. How does this help you know which integer is greatest? Here's what is important to know. And I'm going to write in ink only so that you can see it well. But what you need to know is that -6 is a larger negative. The larger the negative, the least its value. So the bigger the negative, the less the value, the further away from 0 that it is. That is all you need to do for this page. This is a big one because it just takes a while. Make sure you have it as neat as possible. And thanks for listening.